Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Impact Review February 21st. Now I know this is late in the night. Unfortunately, I've been quite busy. When you got stuff to do, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta do it. So this is the last Impact of the UK. And I wish to say ahead of time, the UK crowd, anyone from the UK, you've been watching these videos, mwah, I love you guys. You make the Impact reviews much more palatable, because the way the Impact review was done before, when they had it basically in Florida, Orlando is not a bad place, but having it in that venue sucked because it was a small amount of people. Most of the time it's the same people, same enthusiasm, was boring as hell. But the Impact in the UK, mwah, yes baby. There is no way you can't enjoy Impacts that are overseas. I give you my thanks. I love you. Now let's see what we got. We got roughly five matches. The 8-man tag, which was our two best heel teams versus a throw together team of one that's beginning to get over, which is Joseph Park. One that might be being brought back, which is James Storm, and two that we don't give a damn about, those stereotypicals, Chavo and Superman. And don't get me wrong, I like Superman, but they've been structured wrong. They're boring. Look, Chavo does the main talking. He's not a great talker. Superman is a strong silent type. I've said this before, that time and again, that from once in a while, Superman must talk on the mic. We know he can talk. Sometimes he needs to talk. I bet you if he had talked once in a while, the stereotypicals wouldn't be as boring as they are. Well, what was this all about? What was this 8-man tag? Was it about trying to get James Storm some pops? He got some. Was this about Joseph Park getting some big pops? Oh, he got some, particularly when Kaz tried to jump at him and looked like he was supposed to catch him, and he didn't catch his ass. He hit the ground. He's going like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. That was funny shit. That was funny. But that was not about that. This is about Bad Influence going up against, as I call them, the iconic ones. The greatest ones that ever were tag teams. The iconic ones of Austin Aries and Robert Roode, baby. Those two right there. They are the best heel tag teams next to Bad Influence. I can't really say which one is better, because we don't see a lot of Bad Influence, and now we're really seeing a good push when it comes to the iconic ones, Robert Roode and basically Austin Aries. I'm trying to think. That's why I paused for a moment. I'm trying to think what the promos are going to be when you see these two together. That thought just flew through my head when I was trying to just get out the word of Robert Roode and Austin Aries. Thinking about the promo work between these two, because just to tag these four up was their backstage was actually pretty good. I was not bored with it. So I can't wait to see it. Now, the enhanced jobber match for Rockstar Spud. Rocky, yeah baby. I'm not going to call him Rocky other than that, because he doesn't deserve that title. The Rock is the only one you get Rocky. I'm just saying Rockstar Spud, Rocky once. Spudmeister, whatever you want to call him, got put over pretty well by Robbie E. He did. But I don't think that was the main reason for him. I'll put in my title below. The ETs finally split. Hopefully. I'm saying this right now. Seeing Robbie T get so fucking pissed off when Robbie E smacks the shit out of him like a bitch. Hopefully, I'm hoping. Look, you can say a lot about Robbie T in this stupid getup, in this stupid gimmick and character. Before that, in 2009 and 2010, he was our television champ. He was. He wasn't that bad of a champ, but they never pushed him. He reached a certain plateau and then that was it. lost the title, didn't get seen for months at a time, and then they tag him up with Robbie E. Right after Robbie E had his little fun with Jay Lethal, which I do miss Jay Lethal. He was a good X Division champion. But you know what? I'm getting off track here. We don't know if this is a final split up. I'm hoping they're going to have a match. Maybe they'll actually have a match at Lockdown. I know you're going to say, are you kidding me? You want a match at Lockdown for the ETs together? Yes, if it means they're going to split. I don't mind having Robbie E by himself as an enhanced jobber. I've said this already before. He's good as an enhanced jobber. Leave him in that role. He doesn't need the X Division Championship. He doesn't need the television title. He doesn't need the tag titles. He doesn't need the world title. Leave him as a jobber enhancement. They don't have that much anymore. They used to do that a whole bunch of times years ago when I was just a little kid. You would have some guys. Look at the Brooklyn Brawler. Steve Lombardi. Ken Chi. The Boston Brawler. Look. You need an enhanced jobber. The one thing I can say about the Brooklyn Brawler, he was an enhanced jobber. But get this. He was pushed for a little while as the Brooklyn Brawler. He got over with the crowd. No matter if he was cheered or he was heated, and he switched to different things. When he was working with Kamala as Kim Chi, damn, he was good. I loved that little bit with Kim Chi. But the point is that jobbers enhancement is still a good thing. And if they work on Robbie E, eventually he could do something else. He could expand beyond that. I'm not saying he is now. He's still a jobber bitch. That is his role. Leave him that way. Hopefully Robbie T will be done. Now, the X Division Championship. Same old shit. I am so glad to see Kenny King. Long live the king, baby. I'll always say that about Kenny King. He is the king of professional wrestling. At least in TNA. But the problem here is this. No Job Rob will not give up his title. He didn't give it up to Kid Cash. Which really is not making much sense. Storyline wise, we need Zema Ion to get that title because Jesse Sorensen is supposedly still on the roster, but he hasn't come back yet. Like I said before in numerous Impact reviews, you must get Zema Ion ready before Jesse comes back. If he does not, this is going to be a clusterfuck when he does come back. Because Zema Ion will not have the championship and they cannot push him. It's the perfect storyline. The problem is, they're not pushing Zema Ion. And then the person they should be pushing if they can't push Ion, who is Kenny King, who just came from ROH into TNA, he should have already gotten the title, but he's not getting it. I'm very upset about this. Are they trying to keep the title for Rob because of one of two reasons? One, they'd rather leave him as X Division champion because they don't want him in the TV title range or the world title. I can honestly say leaving him as the X Division championship, even though it fucks up the division, is probably the right thing to do. Because when he gets into the other titles, he don't want to give it up. He doesn't. So if it's in that condition, leave him where he is and just leave Kenny King doing something else. Let him go after the world title or the TV title, even though he needs the X Division title. But if it's just because he just doesn't want to do the job and he's waiting for them to give him the TV title or the world title, this is bullshit. I want to see Kenny King or Zema Ion get that fucking title. Because one of those two will do a pay-per-view where it will get somewhere. With Kenny King, you will get something in a main eventer right there. He is a main eventer. I don't call him the Long Live the King for nothing. He's that good. And with Zema Ion, I'm not saying Zema Ion is great. He's not. He's a good mid-carder if they push him right. But this is not about him. This is about Jesse Sorensen. No one really talks a lot about him much. I'm saying it because he's still on the roster. When you go to the website, you still see him on the roster. That means eventually he's coming back. I'm hoping TNA is not going to give a month advance work on... It upsets me to think that they could give this only a month build for Zema Ion before Jesse comes back. They push him 1 month before he comes back. And that will be the stupidest thing they do, because they need at least 2 or 3 months to really build Zema Iron properly so they can really get the most best storyline out of these two individuals. Now the Knockouts Championship. Elimination. I can say so far throughout the night, not counting the X Division, it wasn't bad. They gave us something different. The crowd in, I believe it was Manchester again, was beautiful. I said this in the beginning of this review. The crowd really made the Impact really feel more vibrant. And when it came to the knockouts, when you had Tara getting eliminated by Gail Kim, we thought it was over. And I still say that Tara's boobs must have gotten a boob job, because her boobs look a lot bigger than normal. Someone leave me a comment below. I'm not trying to be nasty, but it looks like some of these women did a little bit of work on themselves, I think. But then when we got Tessmacher gotten rid of by Velvet Sky, I really knew that it was going to be Velvet who's going to win. There's no way you can deny it, because they weren't going to let Gail Kim have the title again. They weren't. If Gail Kim had gotten the title, I think it would have been a mess. But having Velvet get the title again, it follows what happened last year, because she got stripped of it, and I know she lost. But I'm saying the reason she got stripped is because she never got her rematch with Gail Kim. So I wouldn't want to see Gail Kim get that title, and then Velvet, who should have gotten the title before, didn't get it. So Velvet getting it again, I'm alright with it for now. Now, when it comes to Samoa Joe and Bischoff, you could see they're really trying to make this work with Aces and Eights. Do I believe they're doing a good job at it? No. But at least they're doing their best at the moment with the bullshit they left 4 months ago, when they could have really done something good with it. Now, I wish to say you can see the contrast difference of a main eventer in Samoa Joe and an undercard wrestler in Bischoff. Not saying he didn't do at least some decent work in the ring. He did a couple of good things in there, a couple of good spots. But you can see the contrasting styles and attitude. The crowd was so over for Joe. They were over for Joe. Period. And then, when you can see him working that match, Joe clearly is going to be a main eventer eventually again. I'm hoping. If they don't let him go and get the world title again, it'll be a travesty. But in the end, we get West coming out, kicking Joe's ass. Angle comes out and screams, "You know what? I'm going to get you, Wes. I brought you in, I'm going to get you at Lockdown. Me and you in the steel cage." What the fuck? I was hoping for a tag team between the heel twins and Joe and Angle. There's a possibility we'll get it before Lockdown, which I believe that would be the right thing to do. They're going to do a tag team between the heel twins and Joe and Angle. But the steel cage bit for Lockdown will probably be a decent match, counting on how much work West is going to get. I'm hoping they'll let him get a couple of matches in before that happens. That probably won't happen, but if it does, I'll be alright with it. Now, I can say this. In the opening of the show, when Hogan said it was Bully Ray that was going to be the challenger to Jeff Hardy, I wasn't that upset about it because I saw this coming. I knew the way they were pushing Bully Ray when he was a heel, that at that time he could have already gotten the title. I said this very easily last year around Bound for Glory or Final Resolution, that the person that could be, if it wasn't Jeff Hardy or Austin Aries, it could be Bully Ray. So now seeing that Bully Ray is going to go after the title at Lockdown won't be a bad thing. Unless was that for Lockdown or was that next week? I think that might be next week. I'm sorry. Just in case if they're having that match next week, because I forgot to check. If it's next week, I can understand letting Bully Ray have that opportunity. It's alright. Will he get the opportunity? I don't know. Probably not. But if he does, I'll be alright with it. The 6-man tag. And I put in my title, Hulk Hogan returns, with some question marks. I had a feeling before this happened that Hulk Hogan wouldn't be wrestling. He can't wrestle anymore because of his back problems. So in the beginning of the match, where we got Ad, Anderson, Devon, and Doc. And when you get 0 plus 0, what do you get? 0. That's what we got in this match. 0. There wasn't a lot of greatness in the match. It was effective work in the match. Don't get me wrong. This match was effective. It was. But was it exciting? Not that exciting. It was like the 8-man tag. There was a lot of people in there. There was a lot of action in there. There was a few funny spots, a few good ones. Seeing Bully Ray rise to adversity was a good thing. Seeing Sting rise wasn't a bad thing either. Seeing Sting job to Doc was okay. You need to continue winning and then go after the world championship, aces and eights. If you don't do it, you don't got nothing to work with. Hopefully they'll allow Ace and Eight to keep winning, and they will do something like reveal the vice president and reveal the president. We need that done. So we see at the end of the match almost, we see Hogan brought out by Mikey and Wes. They are pushing Wes. It is obvious. They are hard for Wes. That's the person that came out. Was not Bischoff. Like I said, he's an undercarder. They had to push Wes. Then Sting gets pinned, and that pretty much ends it next to they having fears about what's going on with Hogan. And Brooke, who I wish to say almost forgot. Brooke made a little mistake. You see, Brooke wore a shiny, shimmery dress that was very short, and we got to see some of her ass. Brooke, if you're seeing this, you have a nice ass. But if you really want to make sure you don't show too much, don't wear the dresses near your thong. You may need to do that, girl. Not saying I didn't enjoy it, but the point of this is this. This show was trying to build for effective storytelling leading into lockdown. Was it all good, effective storytelling? No, not that great. It was mainly focused on Bully Ray. That's at least what I got from it. This was all focused about Bully Ray and what's going to happen with Hardy and what's going to happen in lockdown. It's not a bad thing, but the rest of the show kind of suffered. Rob Van Dam winning over Kenny King? Come on. When it came to the knockouts, it wasn't bad what had happened with Velvet Sky. We needed her to win. But the point is, there wasn't that much of a storyline anyway. Hopefully they'll start building it. When it came to the 8-man tag, that was really about Bad Influence versus the iconic ones, Austin Aries and Robert Roode. That is what that was for. The Rockstar Spud, I'm glad they're using Robbie E as a enhancement jobber. And there's a good, like I said before, I really believe Rockstar Spud and Robbie T are going to work together. I could still be wrong. It wouldn't be great to see Robbie T go from one guy to another, but you need to get Rockstar Spud over, and Robbie T could still break off on his own, and maybe finally they'll push him. Like they need to push Magnus, which I'm also upset about. Magnus was not on this show. Magnus deserved to be on the show, and he wasn't there. We only got Robbie T and Rockstar Spud. So, really, next to the 6-man tag, this was a not that great of a show. I'm kind of torn by trying to give it like, really a B-. I was almost tempted to give it a C+, because we didn't see Magnus. There wasn't that great of a storytelling throughout the night. Why didn't Kenny King win the title? I understand it. And person that really was mentioned, which should have had a segment, AJ Styles. We gotta wait until next week to see a segment interview? You're kidding me. AJ Styles, who we haven't heard for months, who's gotten video segments of what happened months ago. And now we got to wait for a video segment of an interview that he took at his home. You couldn't done it here? And then have him on the show next week? Seriously? But I'm still going to say it's a B- show. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel. It's, like I said, a little late, but I had some stuff to do. So I hope to see you soon, and you will be getting your SmackDown review as soon as possible. Have a good night.